So to kickstart our meatballs, the first thing you want to do is to season your meat, right?
We know about sardine, mackerel, bully beef, chicken foot, chicken neck, chicken back. Nothing I waste, nothing I dash way.
We're gonna be using some ground chicken, right? I know this is a bit different, but this is what I had in my freezer, and I said, okay, I need to use this up today. But you can just go with straight ground beef, or even if you don't eat meat, you can go with the straight ground chicken, right? And also some ground beef. No, the color may not be as bright and vibrant as you're used to, because I just took them from the freezer and I was allowing them to thaw out in the sink, right? So hence the change of color. But if it was fresh, it would have a nice pink reddish look to it, you know what I'm saying? But as I said before, I need to use this up ASAP, and I'm going to be using both of them because I had them in the freezer for a while, so I'm going to use them. So as you can see, it's still a bit frozen in the center. So this is 2.5 pounds of meat. Let's get this seasoned now. First thing you want to do is add your garlic. No, not gonna add those. Catch this up. We're developing flavors here, so we need the best flavor out of our meatball. Too many times I have meatball and they're flavorless. We're going to develop the flavor right through. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, a bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to go in with 1 teaspoon, half of which will be salt and half of which will be pepper, because I have in my bottle here salt and pepper mix. I'm going to go in with some onion powder, and I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of this. Some garlic powder. I'm going to use half teaspoon. Don't want to overdo it with the garlic, because remember we have some fresh garlic. Yes, we have fresh onions as well, but with developing flavors, as I said, so you want it seasoned in there. And leave in the comment section, how do you season your ground beef? There's a debate of how people season their ground beef, rather before they start cooking it or while they're cooking it. Just something you may not be so accustomed with, a bit of basil, dry basil, you know, about half teaspoon. Some all-purpose seasoning. You know, Irie me always use, you know what I say? Trusted over the years, me use Irie a lot, so you know the thing. This is not a sponsored video, but this is what I use, so I have to shout them out. I like the flavor and everything that's in it. You feel what I say? And if you want to know where to get the Irie spices to purchase, I'll leave a link in the description and you can check that out at any given time. Because I was once told by a timer that they tried to purchase this in the UK and they couldn't find any, so I'll leave a link below where to get the Irish spice that I normally use. I'm going to go in with 1 tablespoon of my all-purpose seasoning, right? Whatever all-purpose seasoning you can find, if not this one, you can use that. You know, at Jamaica the thing goes, so we have to bring a little of Jamaica into the Italian cuisine. See? Alright, so now that we have that down pat, gonna put this aside for a slight second, work on some magical. So I'm gonna go in with some panko breadcrumb, and this is half cup. And panko breadcrumbs is basically Japanese breadcrumbs, and it's breadcrumbs without the crust. So half cup, and this is our binding agent, right? So to that, I'm gonna add 1 egg. Now you can use just the egg or just the breadcrumb, but we need to bind these as much as possible, right? And to finish that off, I'm going to go into some 10% half and half. And I say 10% because I'm using lean ground meat. So the role that the fat plays in this recipe is to keep those meatballs moist as much as possible, because it's lean, it doesn't have any fat, so I have to give it added fat. If you don't have half and half, you can opt to use regular 2% milk. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to go in with about 2 tablespoons of that. Not too much. I'm just going to mix that up. Nothing too runny, you know? So this consistency is perfect for me. See? Back now with our ground beef. Just gonna add that in it. I'm gonna set this aside for about 1.5 minutes. We're not done yet. My trusty cast iron skillet never failed me yet. We'll let that heat up for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of oil. Alright, we're gonna heat that pan with our oil. So I'm gonna go in now with 1 white onion, and this is roughly chopped, right? Because we need them to be chunky. We're gonna add to that 1 head of garlic, finely chopped. And for some heat, we're gonna go in with ½ teaspoon of finely chopped Scotch bonnet pepper. This is very optional, so if you don't like the spice, omit this, right? Just gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper over that, not too much, just a sprinkle, just to kind of bring out the flavor in our onions and garlic, right? Because remember, I told you, we're developing flavors here. So about 1.5 minutes in, and we're fine. We're gonna shut that right off and allow this to cool down. And just like that, we're good to go. Once they're looking translucent, get a bit of color on them, that's what you want. We're gonna put this to cool, and then we're gonna continue the process. Alright, these are nice and cold. We're gonna add that to our beef. Once this pan is really nice and clean, we don't have to wash this because we're going to use this again. We're going to toss all of this goodness in to distribute that flavor right throughout our meat. Alright, got all of what I want in. We're going to go in now with our clean hands. Massage that in, you feel me? This can totally be done the night before. You see me? So that those seasoning marinate in your meat real nice. Yeah man, this is the thing go. So just do this for as long as it takes for us to incorporate all that goodness. When you saute your garlic and your onion, that brings out the natural sweetness out of them. So that's why we saute them first, and we didn't add them raw in our ground beef. You know what I'm saying? So that's nicely seasoned right throughout. You feel what I'm saying? Up. Get for yourself a casserole dish, a pan, whichever you have. Just work with that. And just gonna spray that with some oil. Just so when you make those meatballs and put them in, they don't stick to the pan. We're gonna roll these out. So you pick up a generous portion, because we want to make them a little bit bigger than a golf ball size. The reason for this is they're gonna shrink afterwards. The bigger you make them, the juicier they are in the center. You don't want no dry out meatball, so don't make them too small. Chances are you'll get them dry. You just mold those, ensuring to squeeze them. So you squeeze them together like that. So this is 2.5 pounds of meat, and when we're done, we're going to get about 12 to 13 meatballs. As I said before, if you want to make them smaller, you can do that, but ensure that you check them so they don't dry out during the cooking process, right? Just get nice shape, and you see all of those chunks of garlic and onion. That's what you want, man. Nice and pretty, see? And we're just gonna drop that right in our grease pan, right? So that way now they don't stick to it. So you get them and you pat them down and you mold them. You want when the meatballs are made, they don't break up. That's why we use the egg and the breadcrumb to bind them, you know what I'm saying? Ease out. We put about 3 per row because you don't want them touching each other now, right? Just repeat this process until all your meatballs are rolled out. You want to keep all your meatballs uniform so that they cook within the same time period, right? You don't want some big, some small, and then some are done before the others. If you find that when you make them they're not the same size, simply just take a piece off the bigger ones and put them onto the smaller ones and get them up there. You feel what I say? So I'm just gonna pop these in the freezer for about 15 minutes just to get them nice and firm.
See you on the dinner for later. But know you fast, girl, you have to tell me. Cause on any man can feed you. So that's why I always take me to the kitchen. Yeah, yeah, yeah.